All right, we're going live for a little while. It's Saturday, uh, kind of early. Um, I don't think Brucey has his game today. I looked, didn't see it, so hopefully I'm not stepping on anyone's penis. I am working on miniatures as usual, and you know, you can follow along as I glue heads on my latest Trench Pilgrim procession, which is made out of a bunch of the bodies from the Imperial Flagellant set and the heads with arms that I 3D printed, but it'd be just as easy to get some arms off of some World War One or World War Two 28 mil carat, war game figures and glue on them and call it a day. So the fact that I have 3D parts on these guys, don't let that intimidate you because, like this guy right here, that is a flagellant body with a Russian World War One Mosin Nagant from the World War One Russian box set from War Games Atlantic. So this game is super easy, right? And the guys that I'm building this time around, they never wear the iron capilettes. So if I said that right. So I'm just going to use Trench Crusade heads. So they're going to look like a bunch of wild men with bolt action rifles, shotguns, and, various other parts. So reaching down under my desk, which is I need to clean out before my wife divorces me, I am just going to grab some random ass heads. And I want shaggy heads. You know what I mean? And I don't want the ones that are blind because these guys, I'm not trying to build any, snipers or anything. Even though if I were, that'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? I'm going to take the Bibles off too because you never know when you want to, which these, of course, would be, the Sigmarite Bible, but you can just scrape the two-tailed comet off and call it a day. And a lot of the other stuff, like the keys and nooses and skulls and bits of chain, those are just awesome. You can use those however you want. Let's see. Any good heads on this one? This guy. And this guy. So, yeah. So these are going to be a bunch of bearded guys. Eventually, I hope to get my hands on something that can double as a... here's a scroll. I might need this. Eventually, I hope to get my hands on something that can double as a millstone so that I can glue millstones to them, because that is part of their thing is they like to, when they kill their opponents, they like to hold them down and drown them in the mud and blood of the trenches with millstones. So these guys are pretty freaking hardcore, right? One thing about this game is that every faction has multiple sub-factions. So, it's not so much as I'm going to do this particular army. You actually have a lot more leeway with which particular army you really want to do. So I really love that because I think it adds a lot of creativity to the game because you can use whatever figures you want and you can build your armies within reason according to the according to the Army lists. And you can then, go on and play the game and have a good time. And if, let's say you're like me and you really love the Trench Pilgrims, but, you want to switch it up, it's so easy to do, you know? Like I can go from playing a Trench Pilgrim army of the 10,000 afflictions or whatever, and I can play Trench Pilgrim army devoted to Saint Methodius, which their whole deal is they get to take more than one anchorite. And their anchorites can be equipped with ranged weapons. So you can have an anchorite stomping around the battlefield with a siege mortar or something. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? Here I'm going to sell these actually. They're on the list to be sold, but I was popping some lady heads off of them, because before I sold them, I was popping lady heads off so that I could put the lady heads on my penitent sisters. And then this is just World War II Germans, I think, from Bolt Action that I have left over, because I gave like all of the ones I had to Basic Expert. And, just grab a backpack or something, glue it on. Not a big deal. I mean, that's the thing I'm going on about with this game is you can basically use any figures that you have and want to use. So, like Frostgrave, which is a game that I absolutely love. If you play D&D or whatever, you already have the figures to play Frostgrave, right? Well, if you are willing to do a little modding, throw some World War I weapons on some stuff or whatever, then you can have a Trench Crusade army super quick, super easy. And the thing with these flagellants, if you decorated them with like more, let's say, hellish things, they could easily be heretics. Like if you took the books off of the thing and you used a steady hand to carve like a pentagram into them upside down, and then glued it on a guy and painted it up. Yeah, I mean, these guys could be heretics super easy. If you have the World War II German gas or World War I German gas mask helmets, you're made in the shade as far as these guys representing your heretics. So that's the best part of the game. Not necessarily the only thing I want to talk about. If there's a particular subject you guys are interested in that doesn't have to do with me geeking out over, modifying. Like I said, this is a flagellant body and just a World War I bolt action rifle with a bayonet. These guys, this particular crusade, they're known for their love of hand-to-hand combat. And being ex-military and a combat vet myself, I'm sitting here thinking, okay, hand-to-hand combat, it doesn't mean you have to carry a trench club, brass knuckles, a dagger. A bayonet will do it. If you want to bayonet charge your opponent and stab them to death, then, when you do it, you can scream, what makes the grass green? Blood, blood, blood. What makes the flowers grow? Guts, guts, guts. What kind of fighters are there? The quick and the dead, drill sergeant. The quick and the dead. Who are you? The quick. Who are they? The dead. And, so yeah, I am going to go ahead and say rifle with bayonet attached, melee weapon. And the fact that they can take shots at demons across no man's land, that's good too. While they're moving to, close combat them. So let me put the girly head over here next to my Agrim. Agrim. I'm probably saying your name wrong, and I apologize, Agrim. Okay. Agrim in private. Agrim not in private. Hola, Agrim. That's Spanish for hello. Unfortunately, I do not speak any. Oh, configuring your mic. Okay. Unfortunately, I do not speak any Farsi, a Hindi, Punjabi. I know there's like tons of languages, and I don't speak any of them. And I do say unfortunately because I mean unfortunately. Like in a perfect world, I wish I spoke like 5 languages. That would be so cool. But being 50 something, I don't think I've got long to worry about learning 5 languages. So hell, joining the army and learning English was hard enough for me. But see, here's a near completed. I could put a backpack in on him, but he's got a shaggy, just unkept head, hair everywhere. I mean, yeah, it's a. I'll join again. Okay, it's a trench pilgrim. So they don't gotta look well kept, like they just stepped out of the barber shop.
Hey, what's up?
Hello, Agrim. How are you? What's on your mind today?
Just woke up, gonna study.
Well, I mean, every time I talk to you, that's you're like, gotta study.
Yeah, my exams are going on.
Mm-hmm. No, I respect it. I was a horrible student, so I respect the fact that you're taking your education seriously.
Yeah,
I was too
you would.
busy not going to school, hanging out in the woods, uh,
That's that's great actually.
being a hillbilly.
Yeah.
The only reason I know anything is because I read a lot.
Which genre?
I read everything, but when I was a kid, my mother would like assign us
Hmm.
books to read, and then we'd talk about them. So, like when I was 9, I read The Hobbit. When I was like 11, I read Lord of the Rings. Um, I read Brothers Karamazov, True Crime, A Day in the Life of Ivan. I forget the name, but I mean, because my mom had a degree from UK,
Hmm.
and you know, hey Daniel Barry, happy Saturday to you. I hope you are doing great, and I hope you're excited about the news that the FIFA World Cup's going to be in America. Uh, I guess next year.
Damn.
Yeah, and for people who don't know, FIFA World Cup is like our American football Super Bowl, except like a week long and times 8 or 9.
Yeah,
Like 2 billion people in the world watch it around, more or less, depending on who's playing, obviously. Now, do I think the US will win? No, I don't.
isn't FIFA European?
Well, apparently we're in it now because America has been working on its soccer. Like my city I live in now, Orlando, we have a soccer team,
Hmm.
the Orlando Lions or whatever they're called. I know their
That's
symbol
great.
is a lion. So, um, most Americans, like me Americans, not every American, but most white Americans don't really give a shit about soccer traditionally. America's
Yeah.
always been like a football place, but in the last 10 years, that's really started to change. And
Mm.
so, yeah, like we used to not really be great at hockey, and now we kind of dominate hockey. Um, I don't
Isn't
know if
soccer
that's
and
a
football the
sport
same?
you follow. What?
Isn't soccer and football the same?
No, no, kind of yes, but no. Like that meme, yes, but no. When you're talking to an American, if they say football, they mean American football. You know, the
What's the
guys in the
difference?
big helmets with the big pads throwing the weird shaped ball downfield and tackling the
Oh,
shit out of each other. That's
isn't that
American
rugby?
football. Huh?
Isn't that rugby?
It's like rugby, except rougher.
Mm.
Some people be like, oh, rugby's not. Look, rugby, they might not be wearing all the pads and stuff, but they're also not getting hit by a 340-pound dude that can run the 40 in like 4.3 seconds. You know what I'm saying? I mean, football people, our American football people literally get necks broke, legs broke. I mean, it's real deal shit. Rugby is
Damn.
rough, but no, it's not as rough as football. They don't hit each other the way they do it. In football, when some big linebacker comes around and hits you, you might get some broken ribs out of it.
Damn.
Now, in Europe and presumably India, football is soccer, but they spell it F-U-T. But ours is F-O-O-T.
Yeah.
Bubba, how you doing, homie? My brother from Appalachia. I was showing my wife all the videos on feral people in Appalachia eating people because she didn't believe it was true. I said, type that shit in YouTube and see what you see. And there's like hundreds of videos. And she was like, could that be a real thing? I said, absolutely, it could be a real thing. I mean, there's shit in the deep woods of Appalachia that no one knows about and never will. There are places in southeastern Kentucky that no white man has ever stepped a foot on. And so if you think there's monsters there, there could be. But you're right. They have been pushing soccer so hardcore. Got to go right now. Got an exam tomorrow. I will probably be streaming Monday. So yeah. If you want to jump in, we can jump in and talk about whatever's on your mind, my good sir. And good luck with your exams, bro. Or break a leg, whatever. I don't want to curse you. But I'll catch you later, Grim. But Bubba, doing good. Good to hear, Bubba. Good to hear. I hope your gaming's going well. And my mom said the weather up that ways was a little rough like a week or so ago. So I hope you had an okay time with all that. Because, I know my mom was trapped up on the mountain for a little while. They could, well, luckily they stockpile everything. But yeah, they couldn't get the car down the mountainside because of all the snow and ice. Getting some land in the middle of nowhere and just checking out a society. I mean, it sounds wonderful, but it's one of those things that's like, it's like the man dream, I think, Bubba.
Yeah, well, the wife wants a camp spot, and I'm just like, I'm just tired, dude. Just tired of everybody's bullshit.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, we want to go camping more this year and do more stuff with the grandkids. And I got a house load right now. I'm just taking a time out.
Yeah, I know you help with the grandkids and all that, which is respectable.
Yeah, the weather's been crazy, dude. It went flood, then freezing and snow, then it warmed up into the 70s again, and then it was down in the damn 20s again, and now it's going to be 80 next Saturday.
Yep. And that's kind of the same thing that my mom was saying where she is. She's like, one day it was 70, and then they woke up and there was a foot of snow, and then the snow melted, but then it immediately turned to ice.
Yeah.
So, the only way they could go to the store if they needed something is they had to take their side-by-side Polaris down the trail all the way down the mountain to where her cousin lives, and have the cousin take them because her cousin lives next to the highway, so it's not too bad. But my mom's place is way up the mountainside.
Yeah, I heard Hazard got a little bit more worse when it comes to the flooding and stuff. We doing all right up here, but all our kin down south, they got hit pretty hard.
Well, I mean,
And then right after turned around, everything froze. It's like, oh my gosh.
That's what it was. It was in a month. Yeah, that's what it was. It was like, she's like, snow, ice, ice and snow.
Yeah, the other day we warmed up and we went out, and I was like, does this feel like spring? Does this feel like fall? Because it felt like fall, and I was confused, but I dug it because I like fall.
Right. I was like, wow, But I remember one time I went up there to hang out with my mom for my birthday, which is in April.
Yeah.
And it snowed a foot.
Yeah.
In April. I was like, okay.
The biggest winters have always been in March and April in Kentucky. The biggest winter storms, at least.
I was like, what do you know? Okay, cool.
I think I might
sent me some pictures of her really, really old Pomeranian.
Yeah.
Playing in the snow, like sticking her face in it and rolling it. Because this thing's like literally, it looks like a tribble.
Yeah.
It's just such a fuzzball. And she let it out, and all the other dogs were like, oh, hell no. But, the 13-year-old Pomeranian was like, hell yeah, is digging around in the snow. And she sent me a picture of it looking up at her, and its whole face is just caked in snow. Like, that's Cassie, though. She's a sassy little thing.
Yeah. They took me off my blood thinners, so the cold ain't bothering me as much.
Good.
My EF's back up to 50s.
I mean, I hope that's good. I hope they don't.
Oh, the ejection fraction? Yeah. It's all over the place. But it's back up, and I've not had any episodes, so they took me off my blood thinners.
Yeah, that if I remember correctly, that means that your heart's not pumping as much blood as it's supposed to.
50 is normal for a guy my age, I guess.
So, yeah, I remember they used to check our, like, we had to go sit down in a machine, and they would check our what you just said, because if it wasn't above a certain level, then you couldn't be a firefighter, because they're like, the first time you grab a hose and try to do anything,
you get tired.
You're done. It's like, so.
Yeah, I still get tired real easy, but
it gets better, man.
It's getting a lot better. Maybe we'll beat that 10-year prognosis, I guess.
Good to hear.
But yeah, I was glad to get off the blood thinners. I don't like taking them. I don't.
Well, the bad thing about blood thinners, not that I've ever had to take them, but I've been around people who have, is like all the bruising and just everything like
that. Bleeder. Yeah, but when they put me on them, dude, I had 2 blood clots in my lower ventricles the size of ping pong balls.
Oh, jeez.
So they're like, you're screwed. And then they thinned it out. It's like, how'd you not have a stroke? We don't know. We don't know what we're thinking. You're doing good.
Yeah, blood clot. This is my buddy Bubba, and we're both from the same area, kind of in Appalachia, and we're just shooting the shit real quick.
Off the bottom of Kentucky. Northeastern Kentucky, southeastern Kentucky.
Yeah, I'm in the south. But normally we talk about Dungeons and Dragons and miniatures and other types of war games and stuff like that.
Mainly,
But yeah, you're lucky you didn't get that lower left ventricular block because in the fire service, we call that the Widowmaker.
Yeah.
Because it's like you get it, you're dead before you even.
the I had PVCs, the extra beats, and arrhythmia.
Yeah.
So I've had 2 ablations. The second ablation seems to have fixed it.
Good.
So now I gotta go back to calisthenics and just get back.
Because something in your nervous system was making your heart.
Well, my heart was true. Yeah, it was probably a side effect of Rituxan from when I had cancer. So Rituxan's a heart killer. They know it. So when they see I had RCHOP 2 for lymphoma, they're like, oh, yeah. But they don't go into more details because every doctor knows. Every heart doctor's like, yeah, that's what caused it. Beat your cancer, destroyed your heart. Congratulations. Now we're going to fix the heart.
Hey, what's up, George? How you doing, homie? And I'm glad to be one of your favorite anythings, my man. I would say you're my favorite Greek, but I don't think I know any other Greeks.
I got family that's Greek.
Well, there you go.
Uncles. Well, they're all dead now.
If you got a Greek uncle, then chances are,
yeah,
you're Greek too, a little bit at least.
Yeah. Well, no. My grandmother's first husband,
married in.
Yeah, my grandmother's first husband was Greek.
Oh, nice.
So I had 3 Greek uncles and a bunch of, I guess, half Greek, quarter Greek cousins.
Well, so you had a Peter, a Paul, a Mark.
Something like that. Chris and Nick.
I don't know if you ever seen the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding, but
yeah, I had to suffer through that.
Introducing all of the kids, and it's like, this is Peter, this is Paul, and then they all have the same names.
Yeah, Verdonk.
Like, because they're all named after one of the apostles or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did a couple videos today on miniature gaming. I did one on the most efficient mechs in 3025.
I've been thinking about doing some BattleTech stuff, and I did decide on what colors I was going to do. I'm going OD green. I'm using World War II paint color schemes for the rest of my mechs from now on, I think.
Nice.
The reddish brown that they used on like Panthers and stuff as the base for the camo for Space Texas Torn Concordant. And then I'm going to work in some German gray Panzer paints, and then I'm doing OD green for Star League and Davian.
The thing I told Dark Knight's here. The thing I was talking to Jose about is that if you're worried about committing all your mechs to a house, just paint them camouflage.
Oh yeah, I know. I just wanted that at a glance you can tell the sides, because I've played in them games where you have like a company level BattleTech game going on. You got 12 on each side painted the same damn camo scheme. That is a pain in the butt. It's like everybody wants that same slap chop camo pattern.
I usually slap chop mine chocolate chip.
Chocolate chip. I like Tiger Stripe.
I was in Desert Storm.
Yeah.
And I had to wear that stupid chocolate chip uniform. So I paint mechs up, or I just paint them up. I start with black and dry brush them up to Iraqi sand. Yeah. So they're just sand colored. They're not even camouflage.
Well, there's no hiding a 20-meter tall battle machine in the woods. Especially with the heat they generate. I mean, camo's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, the only way you could hide them would be the woods. You could hide them in because there are trees
powered down,
way taller than a mech.
Yeah, if you're powered down.
But you'd have to power it down, otherwise that reactor is going to show up from miles away. How you doing, Dark Knight?
And that first guy with a Beagle active probe is going to see you shut down, and I go call shot head.
Well, the thing is, I don't deal with any of that shit.
Well, if you're powered down in the core rules, you can call shots on a powered down mech.
You can, but I'm saying you said Beagle Active Probe, and I don't deal with any of that tier 2, tier 3 bullshit.
Yeah, I go up to 3058. That's it. But I've been playing 3025 here lately. But think about going to like the Renaissance, where you got the super hot ER Lagers, 12 heat, 8 damage. Crap.
Yeah, Comstar.
Yeah, for 4 extra range. Woo!
How are you feeling, Bubba? By the way,
I'm doing peachy.
I was just wondering, is there problems with your heart or something?
Yeah, I got congestive heart failure.
Oh shit, man! I'm sorry to hear.
Yeah, well, I'm beating it. I'm fine.
Yeah, I have a friend of mine on Discord who's having there's something wrong with his heart as well.
Yeah.
So and I've known this guy since COVID lockdown, so I'm worried about him.
Yeah, the my left ventricle and the left side of the heart, the muscle was stiffening and deteriorating, and the worse it got, it made it worse for the other side. But it looks like we've got it fixed. So
That's good.
yeah. When they told me because CHF, I was like, oh, well, that's it. And they're like, wow, 50% are dead within fucking 2 years. I was like, oh. But no one takes the doctor's advice or does any lifestyle changes. So I immediately did lifestyle changes. And my daughter's an RN. That's one of her big things she bitches about. She's got people, and they can't help them because they won't help themselves.
Yeah, one of them is named Hungar.
He's on that list. Yeah.
He's on that list of non-compliance.
Yeah.
But I mean, he had the same thing kind of as you, but his was so bad they had to crack him open and like do what they call cabbage. Yeah,
how you talking about?
And then they had to put stents in his ass like a couple months ago.
That sounds awful.
Not actually in his ass, but you know.
Yeah, I know. I mean, like, still getting probed in your heart doesn't sound fun.
Dude, if you ever have to get an ablation with for PVC, that is agony because they can't put you under because your heart, once you're sedated, it won't do the extra beats. So for that ablation, I was conscious for the whole fucking thing. And when they scour when they ablaze you, right? They are frying nerve endings, and it felt like you're having a heart attack in a microwave.
Dude, I remember when I was 8 years old, I was having appendicitis, and the entire center of my chest felt like I'd swallowed lava. I just felt like I was on fire.
Yeah,
I was crying on the couch, just shivering, and I was in such agony. It sucked.
Yeah, Gerd gets like that. My buddy Brent, he's in one of my games. His esophagus split. They was getting ready to go somewhere, and it split, and they had to open him up and fix it. But imagine your whole esophagus is tearing.
Hell, dude.
Go in the throat.
Oh, God.
I tease him all the time because I say, how'd that feel? He's like, wait, it's the worst thing I've ever felt in my life. He said, I was going to die. And he was more upset because he was putting the kids in the car, and they were standing all right there when it happened, when he went.
Yeah. I mean, that was probably a heart attack and a half for the children.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, a buddy of mine had that esophagus issue, and they kept, like, when he went to the doctor, they kept being like, so you don't drink? And he'd be like, no, I don't drink. And they're like, are you sure? And he'd be like, I'm 100% sure I don't drink. Because he had, like, basically all the, it was like ulcers, but in his esophagus.
Yeah. Don't drink it.
There's a name for it. It starts with a B, I think.
Yeah, I had to ask him.
And if you don't take care of it, yeah, your esophagus can just split. You can bleed out and stuff. Yep. So,
look, man, like it's just like cancer. You can be the healthiest bastard on the planet, eat all right and everything, Eat your veggies and be good and everything, and then just one cell just grows in the wrong place and it spreads like a motherfucker.
It depends. Cancer rates for people who don't engage in modernity are much lower than us.
Oh yeah, obviously.
It has to be something with the stuff we eat, our environment and everything. And I noticed that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying it's possible. It's not likely. It's not likely that cancer just springs up out of the ether, but it does happen on occasion.
Yeah. Yeah, there's all kinds of things that can increase those factors, but the Amish don't get anywhere near the amount of cancer the rest of us do.
Yeah. Little girl just walked behind you. That's a bit
Oh, I
funny.
have I was like 8 of them here.
Yeah, he's babysitting.
Hey, baby,
Yeah.
it's all time. They're all here with Popsy.
The guy that lives down the mountain from us, he's got his grandkids too. I don't know what happened to the daughter or what, but I know the father was trying to ride up the hill on a 4-wheeler and it flipped backwards on him and cut his head off.
Yeah, that's extreme.
So he was gone at the age of 20 something because he's trying to go up a really steep part and it just flipped back and somehow his head came off. Which,
That's not trying to do that with the damn 4-wheeler.
You know.
We had a problem over here in Ironton, over across the river in Orange County, Ohio. Dumbasses were flying off the top of the cliffs along the highway. So there's 4-wheeling tracks up there, and they go full tilt, and they would just go right through the brush blindly over top of those 200-foot cliffs. They blasted out for 52. Oosh.
Oh boy!
Like 3 of them in a year. So they closed.
Not a good idea. Not a good idea.
But no, I'm trying to figure out some gun like firearms rules for the game I'm designing.
Have you looked at the Flying Dutchman stuff?
Oh, Scrying Dutchman, the modern necessities.
Our little Dutch boy.
Yeah, the modern necessities. Yeah, someone actually recommended it to me. I may pick it up actually because I have OSE anyway. So, you know.
If you look for some BX, look at the rules for Lamentations, Modern Necessities, and AD&D with the. I always like using the exploding die for firearms. But I got to pop up here. I'm gonna make the kids pizza.
Is that the boot?
Yeah, make them a pizza.
Yeah, I mean, I
I'll
could
catch
also
you later,
look at,
Grandpa.
see you later, dude. Yeah, so modern necessities, AD&D, and
Yeah, AD&D has firearms rules in the Dungeon Master's Guide because they have rules in the DMG for like not only converting your D&D game to a Western game, but also a Gamma World game.
Yeah, that's for Boot Hill, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's also I mean, I'm looking at Operation
Boot
White
Hill
Fox.
is a very lethal game, as any game where you shoot people with 45s would be.
Yep.
It wasn't like, oh, I'm going to survive this. No, chances are, if somebody gets a good shot on you, you will not be surviving it.
Yeah, what I'm debating as well is I might test for different, since I'm doing it such a long, sprawling timeline, I might have different period settings that people can go like, oh, you can fight in this area at this time, or it's something I'm toying around with, time, before the Crusades, and then the Ultimate Treachery, and then the immediate years thereafter when Hell opens up. I might also handle the Napoleonics, maybe, but also like one of the things I might do for an IRL group, I might do this with is during the years of Irish, like leading up to Irish independence, like the Easter Rising and the Civil War and stuff.
Let the players play like IRA agents.
Pretty much, yeah. Irish Republican Brotherhoods and the Irish Republican Army, essentially. Be kind of interesting to see how that goes. They might have more investment in it since I'll be playing with Irish people, so
Right.
So,
I was thinking about making up a bunch of civilians for Twilight 2000.
Oh, nice.
Just dropping the game on the players. Like, not even telling them what game we were playing, just sitting down and handing it out this way. And be like, here you go.
I mean, I might pick up the new Twilight 2000s rules from that Finnish company. Or is it Finnish or is it Swedish? I don't remember.
It's Scandinavian.
Yeah. It's the ones who did the new One Ring game from like 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, I can tell you this about the firearms rules they did. They are the most realistic firearms rules I have ever encountered.
Yeah, but I don't know if I necessarily
because they take into account not only shooting at an opponent, but you have suppression dice that you roll.
Oh, yeah.
And if you get certain numbers on suppression dice, well, not numbers, but symbols, you can force your opponent to make basically cool checks, or they have to lose their turn because they're too busy
diving for cover
because you're spraying the AO, just and then the weapons, it's like they have the damage they do, but if you get certain symbols, you can apply that to make the damage bigger.
Right.
So you can just kill somebody in that game. Just
I mean, I remember
right
in Operation White Box, there was like a supplement for machine gunners that basically did the same thing, where if you're blasting someone with machine gun fire, they have to make saves or they have to hit the deck. They just stop moving.
That's the whole point of machine guns.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and to be fair, in Operation White Box, it only goes up to like 5th level, so feasibly, a machine gun can still easily kill you. Especially since everything is D6. So like at most you'll have 35 hit points, which is not a lot when you're dealing with automatic weapons. That's nothing. When you have no armor, so I'm like, you're gonna die really goddamn fast.
It's like you need to play a Soviet engineer, because at least they got to wear body armor.
Yep, they're
might not have been the best stuff ever, but it was something.
It was better than nothing. I mean, now if you're fighting against, say, a flamethrower, that's not going to be too pleasant.
Well, it doesn't matter what you're wearing. Flamethrowers they're like the end all of it all. If you find yourself on the receiving end of some guy with flamethrower, you're in trouble.
Oh yeah,
because it's just like, hey, it's Leth.
Hey, Leth, and it's not because it's not like oil. Because if it was oil that they were spraying on you, at least you could easily you could more easily scrape the oil off. But it's like sticky napalm that just like fastens onto you and it doesn't get off.
Yeah,
so that's fun.
Gelatinous gas.
Yep,
which they make by combining gasoline with citric acid.
Oh, delightful. So
that is why in Vietnam, when they called it napalm, it was sometimes referred to as orange crush.
Yeah. I mean,
because
so not only
would sometimes smell that slight gasoline, but with also, undercurrent whiffs of orange.
Oh, good. So, but hey, my flesh may be burning off of, like, slopping off my body, but at least I'll have that nice or citric-y smell when I do.
Hey, I love the smell of napalm in the morning. Smells like victory.
Victory. God, I fucking hate that film. I hate that movie so much.
Oh, that
James,
movie...
you magnificent bastard! I read your book.
Yeah, that's Patton.
I know.
When Patton finally beats Rommel in the desert, he's like, "Rommel, you magnificent bastard! I read your book."
Did they actually meet? I thought Rommel was dead.
I don't think they actually met because Rommel was pulled out of North Africa before Tobruk and the final.
Yeah, I think by 43. I thought by 43 he was gone, and Hitler ordered him to commit suicide for treason or something like that.
That's entirely possible, but Rommel
I can't remember exactly when.
did his thing in Africa, and then they pulled him from Africa, and they put him to work preparing France for invasion.
Oh no, I was wrong. He died in October 14th, 1944. I was wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, because the Allies, the British especially, they used to call the big telephone poles he put all over, the French coast areas, Rommel's poles or something, because they were designed basically so that if a glider came in, because the British love gliders for some reason, and it caught one of those poles coming in, it rip it, and maybe kill everybody in it. So that's what he was doing. And then, yeah, like you said, he eventually had to commit suicide.
Yeah, it was either you commit suicide or I'll kill your family and your men. And
Right.
It's like, yeah, it's unfortunate.
That's what happens when you make deals with the devil.
Yeah, it's true.
How you doing, Bear?
Oh, I'm all right. How you doing?
Can't complain. And even if I want to, no one would listen. So
that's fair.
But yeah, we're just bullshitting around. If there's something you actually wanted to talk about.
No, I just noticed you're on. Thought I'd come say hi.
Well,
I was bored of playing Civ 6, so I was like, it wasn't for you. I was for James. I'm here for James. Only James.
I appreciate it.
There we go. Lethis, you just be quiet.
Right? Yeah, you just be quiet.
Oh,
you're just a dwarf. No one cares what you think.
I want to go home. That's where my stuff at.
Like, you're just a dwarf.
I love that dwarf from Freerin so much. So stupid.
I'm all like, shut up, digger.
Okay.
I forget what that's from, but that was the slur they called dwarves. They just called them diggers. And it was like, wow. But you have to remember, the Japanese, they don't give a damn.
Nope. If you see,
Speaking of Asians that don't give a damn, Korea, apparently they're just going to go ahead and throw Johnny Somali in prison.
Well, of course.
He's been found guilty of everything, and he's got another court case coming up. So
he might have actually he might have actually committed another crime on stream.
Right. It's like, this guy.
Oh, it's another streamer. Okay. All right.
He's one of those streamers that goes to other countries and is a dick. Now, I don't understand
like Logan or Ron Paul, that stupid shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand why that's acceptable or why anybody would want to do it.
No, I don't either.
But
that's
like
why they do it.
He went to Japan. No, first he went to Israel.
Yeah,
and they kicked him out. Then he went to Japan. They kicked his ass out. Then he went to Korea, and the Koreans started playing Pokemon Go, except he was the Pokemon.
Yeah.
Is like they were doing shit like, if you see this guy, let us know his location. And then random Koreans were just running up and punching him in the head.
Yep.
He ended up going to the hospital, and then some Korean let the Korean group know which hospital. So then a Korean soldier who was in the Korean Special Forces waited a distance from the hospital. When he got out of the hospital and was walking down the street, jumped out and beat the shit out of me again.
What did this guy do?
A lot. He was playing suggestive
things.
Yeah.
Unforgivable things.
Yeah. Suggestive stuff in front of kids, saying like a lot of terrible stuff, working on a statue of the women who were...
That was the one that got him.
Oh, yeah.
During the Japanese occupation, they would take the Korean women and they called them...
comfort women.
Comfort women, which basically meant, they were being mistreated.
Yeah.
And so the Koreans have built statues to honor that thing. And he thought it'd be a good idea to rub one down in baby oil and, grind on it and stuff. And it was not a good idea because the Koreans were like, okay, all right. And apparently, I mean, Koreans must be really good at organizing shit because in no time at all, they were on his ass.
Not to mention he was like...
It's probably, that he's filming everything he's doing, making it a lot. I mean, look at, like, Shia LaBeouf once challenged the internet to find him, and he went out in the most remote place possible, and within 4 hours, they found him.
Well, never underestimate the autism of 4chan.
Oh, yeah. Don't pick a fight with autists online. they will just say challenge accepted. Like
Because
they'll do it.
4chan, they ruined Mountain Dew's thing. They ruined Taylor Swift's thing.
Yeah.
They ruined Pitbull's thing. They declared war with the Church of Scientology for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, those guys are just nuts.
Yep. If I remember.
Hey, at
Like
least
an
there was probably
episode
a
of
kid-
The Orville.
There was like a British 15-year-old who hacked into the Pentagon. He was probably on 4chan too.
at least we got to see the world's greatest game of capture the flag.
Yeah, they did capture the flag.
Mm.
And they made Shia LaBeouf so insane. He converted to Catholicism, and you never hear from him anymore.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
he was in the movie Fury, and I don't think he was even credited.
was he in Padre Pio or something like that? There was a film about Padre Pio that he was in, or am I misremembering that?
I don't know.
I don't know.
The last thing I seen him in was probably Holes.
Holes is what I know him from.
That and even Stevens.
He was also in
And he was a
Fury,
kid.
if I remember correctly. Yeah. I think he was in Fury.
He was in Fury,
Yeah,
but I don't
watch
think
Fury.
they even gave him like credit for being in Fury. It was
Nope.
like, and he changed so much you couldn't recognize him.
Yeah.
For like most of the movie, you're like, is it? And then it's like, it is. But he was totally different, and like, whereas he used to be super like political and whatever, you never hear him say shit anymore.
Yeah. I mean,
He's
yeah, no,
just
I
like,
looked it up.
I'm done.
Yeah, he was in Padre Pio, a 2022 biographical film. Yeah,
Mhm.
I thought it was like a joke that someone like made like a meme of it, but no, apparently it's real.
Yep. Well, I guess 4chan broke him because, like I said, he just went back to his corner and was like, "Yeah, I'm done."
Yeah, he learned his lesson. He learned a
not
lesson.
dealing with it.
And, yep.
So, but I mean, I never hated Shia LaBeouf.
Oh no. I might have made fun or jokes about what he did, but I was never hated him. I just like
Yeah, I
no,
never
this is just
hated
funny.
him. I always thought, well, you know,
He was just a Hollywood actor who was maybe a bit cringy at times, but you know, whatever.
but they all are. I mean, nothing
Almost
could be
all of them.
cringier than all these multimillionaires singing Imagine.
No God.
Oh
That was
God,
the
I forgot
worst.
about that. Oh God.
Because it's like, so you multimillionaires are all singing a song that basically espouses atheism and communism. Like, you guys are idiots.
Yep.
This is why no one cares what actors think.
Yeah.
I mean, it was almost. I mean that was bad, but there was also like a lot of celebrities during the lockdowns who like, I don't know which one it was, but she would like show her life, and one of the times she was like bathing in like milk and like flower petals or something, and it's like this is slightly deranged.
There was a lot of them that were doing stupid shit. They were like, you know, we're
I'm just
all
glad
the
my
same.
namesake
It's
wasn't,
like, we're not all the same because I don't own a 10,000 square foot mansion.
Hey James, I just gotta say, I'm just glad that my namesake didn't go crazy and do all this crap either.
Oh, no.
The guy
Who's your
I'm
namesake?
named after. What?
Who's your namesake?
I was named after Tim Allen.
Yeah, well, he kind of got his crazy out early.
Yeah.
Well, when he went to prison for coke and other stuff.
Yeah.
He was like, prison sucks. I think I'll be a normal person from here on out.
Yeah, it was the same with like, you know, Robert Downey Jr. as well. He was a bit early on.
Oh, when he was young and he was in like Less Than Zero and shit like that, that dude was off the chain, man.
Yep.
He's running wild in the streets.
Yeah, I actually saw him in I just watched it finished it today. It was U.S. Marshals. It was him and Tommy Lee Jones. It wasn't bad. It wasn't like amazing or anything, but it was fun.
He will always forever just be Iron Man to me.
Yeah. Well, I've seen him in Sherlock Holmes. I prefer him in those films, to be honest.
Yeah,
He was okay in Sherlock Holmes.
I
was
don't
that,
think
Bear?
he was that great.
I preferred him in Weird Science.
Oh yeah, he was good in Weird Science. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't think he was very good Sherlock. Nah.
Well, I mean, like those films aren't like particularly great or anything. I enjoyed them for what they were, but
I liked him.
Yeah.
Not fair. I don't think he pulled it off
Well,
very
I
well.
at least like the first one. My favorite scene in the first one is where he's doing the bare knuckle boxing
oh yeah,
and he
discombobulate.
beat
Yeah,
the guy or something, or he got done fighting and the guy like spit on him
Spat.
or something.
Yep.
And he starts
And just-
talking like his inner monologue. He's like, first, I'm going to distract him. And then I'm going to, and it's like, oh shit. And he took that guy apart. You know, I was
Yep.
like, that was kind of a cool scene. And the whole time they're doing that, they're playing in the background the Rocky Road to Dublin.
Yep.
And it was like, okay, that's kind of cool, you know?
Yeah, I
But
love the
yeah,
fact
Johnny
that
Somali twerking is the worst thing. And he filmed himself apparently in Korea. My wife and I looked this up. Their 7-Elevens are like fully automated. They have a person that works there, but their only job is like to restock things. You pay for everything with a card. So if you want ramen, you go, you get the pack of ramen and you put it, you know, on the thing and add the water, and they've got the cooker, and then they've got like this whole section of Cambros that have whatever toppings you want on your ramen right there, like ham, egg, whatever.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, right. And he went in one of those places and just tore it up. And then when the lady who worked there was like, why are you doing this?
No. He was
like
drinking
bad.
alcohol. He was drinking an alcoholic beverage in the 7-Eleven, which is illegal. And she was trying to explain to him, you're not allowed to drink that here. And he was being a rude fuck to her.
He was
and then he started throwing his noodles everywhere and being a prick.
Yeah, he was being the worst kind of person. I met him once and he cuffed me. Jacob, I don't know if I'd I'd keep that secret, dude.
Yeah,
But so he did a bunch of horrible shit. How you doing, historical doppelganger? He did a bunch of horrible shit, but here's what makes him extra stupid is he recorded all of the horrible shit he did.
Yeah.
So it's like his trial was super easy. He walked in, the jury walked in, and they just played.
Don't you love it when a criminal presents his own, like, the evidence against himself to the public?
And they just played it, and then the jury is like, "Yeah, that guy's guilty." It's like, I was hoping this was a safe space. No place is safe.
No place is safe.
It's that line from, I think it's Pawn Stars. Congratulations, you played yourself.
Well, it's DJ Khaled, I think, originally did it.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
Yeah, the whole congratulations, you played yourself.
Played yourself.
Yeah. Meta Trump is a reference to Trench Crusade because they cloned
Jesus.
The flesh of Jesus and they call it the Meta Christ. So I just said Meta Trump, the eternal ruler of New Antioch. Some people will get it and some people won't, and that's fine. It's pretty fun.
We're gonna build a new Antioch. It's gonna be the greatest city in the world. No one builds Antioch cities like I do.
No, it'll be like no one ever seen, and then we'll defeat the forces of hell. They have no chance.
He's a terrible guy. He's been bleeding Arrakis dry, but I'm here, baby. The spice will flow, baby. Flow, baby, flow. We're going to build a wall. It's going to be a great wall. It's going to be a shield wall. The Harkonnens are going to pay for it. Babe Ralph says he wants to kill me. Died like a bitch on the floor.
Oh my God! Okay, we're going God Emperor Dune. I love it.
I love it. Yeah, the God Emperor of Dune.
We're gonna make Arrakis great again.
I have to read those books. I really do.
I stopped after the first one, and then I kind of listened to the second one on Audible. I've heard from some people that I trust that they just get weirder and weirder as you go.
The third one's my favorite. Children of Dune is my favorite of the series. It's a really good book. But yeah, they get real weird. Once you get to that Emperor stuff, no, it's not so great anymore.
Right.
Is it more or less weird than like what would be good, like the Amber Chronicles?
Never read Amber, don't know.
Well, fair enough. I thought
more.
you might have.
More.
Way weirder than wow, okay.
I mean, Amber, the one I read, you're just talking about Corwin is on Earth during World War One, effing around.
Oh, you know, right? There's also the Guns of Avalon. I need to read more of them, to be honest, but I've read up to the Guns of Avalon, I think it's called.
Right. When you get to the God Emperor, you're talking about, I think it's Leto the Second or whatever.
Yeah, it's Leto the Second.
He's merged with a sandworm, and he's 10,000 years old. And I mean, he plots his own his own death, and
because to unify.
And then of course Duncan Idaho has been reincarnated like 100 times at least.
Wow, I wonder where
as a golem or whatever they call it.
I wonder where 40K got its idea for perpetuals and the God Emperor from.
Come on, 40K ripped everything off.
I know. I'm not even mad about it.
What else? At some point, Paul Atreides' sister gets possessed by the Baron Harkonnen.
Yep, Ilea gets possessed because she's the danger of being preborn the way she was makes her very, very, very susceptible to possession by ancestry.
And Harkonnen was
wait, your ancestors can time travel and possess you in the future?
No, come on. That's not how the Bene Gesserit thing works.
So time has no meaning, and if you actually read the books, you'll understand that.
Right.
Oh, fair enough.
When a Bene Gesserit drinks the water of life and transforms it in her body to become a
member?
No, not a member. These are special. These are like the priest, a Reverend Mother, right? They get all of the memories of every Reverend Mother before them.
Mm-hmm.
What?
So time doesn't matter.
So the Kwisatz Haderach, which is Paul, terrifies the Bene Gesserit because they cannot see the future.
Right.
The Bene Gesserit cannot look into the future. It terrifies them. It is death. They can't stand it. But the Kwisatz Haderach can, which is why Paul sees the golden path, which then Leto continues and all that fun stuff. Ilea, like all Bene Gesserit, can see the past lives of her ancestors. The problem is because she's preborn, because Jessica took the water of life while she was pregnant with Ilea, so Ilea was born as a Reverend Mother. She's very susceptible to possession by these memories, if you will.
Yes, you can't even say she's being possessed by the spirit or the ghost of the Baron Harkonnen. It's his memories in her.
Yeah.
Her.
Okay, I get you now. All right, okay.
And they basically take her over.
Yeah, George says it right. It's genetic memory.
Yeah.
So then she basically becomes, the Baron Harkonnen, who is a
prevert,
completely kind of evil, doing crazy shit guy. And I think at one point she sets a bomb off to try and kill Paul Atreides, like a nuke.
Don't burn her.
Yeah.
Which makes him blind.
It blinds him, but because of his bullshit, he can see through everyone else's eyes. So, but then eventually Paul just wanders off into the desert, and then for the next 3 books, they talk about the wild man that wanders the desert, and you're always like, is that Paul or?
And then the blind prophet comes in.
Yeah, the blind prophet and all that.
Against the jihad and against Paul's golden path.
Right. Which Paul never wanted the jihad anyway. He was just forced into it.
Well, except he has to do it because he can control it.
Exactly, because every other path he saw ended up worse than the one he chose. And the one he chose led to the death of trillions.
Yeah.
But that was the best path he could choose. I mean,
Yeah.
so it's like, yeah, those books.
It's not easy. It's not easy to choose a bad solution.
Great.
It's not easy to choose a bad solution, but when you're faced with the worst solution, it's like, I don't have a choice.
The thing is, Paul's story is actually sad because he never chose any of it.
Yeah.
And he didn't want any of it. Paul wanted to be a pilot and hang out with his dad. And
it's
whatever.
That old
Maybe
adage.
Become the Duke of frickin' Caladan or something.
It's like in politics, James. The side that wants to be left alone, will always lose to the people who want to win. So.
Well,
you don't.
He didn't lose. He won.
Yeah. Well.
I mean, but he didn't want any of that stuff. His story is pretty freaking
tragic
because he was just a guy, a very young guy. I think he's like 14 when it starts. And it's just like fate just pushes him into this thing. And he even took the wire of life, which basically made him a Reverend Mother, but he's a man, which is scary because at one point he even yells at the head of the Bene Gesserit, and he says, "Look into that place you're afraid to look. You will see me looking back."
Oh, gotta go. I'll see you.
See you later. But
yeah, George Ganima is my favorite character from the whole series, and it sucks what happens to her.
Which one's Ganima?
She's Leto's sister, his twin.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which are Leto the Seconds.
They also, in every movie, they don't mention the fact that after Paul kills Jameis, he gets Jameis's wife and kids.
Yep.
And even though he never sleeps with Jameis's wife, I forget her name, she is freaking probably the only reason Paul survives. Because she personally guides him through Fremen culture, which is not like what we're used to. It's really easy to insult somebody and end up in a knife fight.
Mm-hmm.
And those dudes are really good with their Chris knives.
It's a warrior culture. It's
right.
It's not that it's a warrior culture; it's that it's a fighting culture. Warriors fight for glory. Fremen fight because they have to.
They have to.
Right. My apologies.
And if they kill you, of course, the first thing they're going to do, whether you're an enemy or a friend, is take all your water because a dead man has no need for it.
Need for water, yeah.
And they don't mean the water in your thermos, dude.
Yeah.
From your body.
Your body.
They have a thing where they draw all the water out of your body.
Well, you got to do what you got to do, I guess.
And then whoever won the battle gets a portion of that water, and then the rest goes to the siege.
Yep.
And the person who won the fight is expected to drink all that water because water is best stored inside your body. So, yeah. I mean, it's not like anything. Sorry, Bear, go ahead.
And if you have a wife and kids, they're yours now.
And if you kill somebody who has a wife and kids, they're yours now.
What?
I just told you. Paul killed Jameis.
You're responsible for them.
He got Jameis's wife and kids. They become his responsibility.
Oh,
now,
okay.
Could he have slept with her if she was down with it? Yeah, could have. But instead, she just guided him and taught him how not to get killed in Fremen society. And in return, he, made sure her and the kids were fed and, nobody messed with them. Because he fell in love with Channy, who was, this dusky, redheaded girl, that was actually the daughter of Liet
red hair and speaks like she's from Brooklyn, but whatever.
And Liet Kynes was not actually really a Fremen. He was whatever he was, but the emperor had sent him there to study Arrakis, and he was there so long he went native.
Yeah, he was a planetologist.
Yep. He took a Fremen wife, had kids, whatever, you know.
Oh, isn't Chani his daughter?
Yeah, Channing is his daughter.
Yeah.
And, you know, he was the one that was constantly teaching them about how they could turn Arrakis into a paradise.
So, Dark Knight, if you ever wind up watching it, the Dune movies, I want you to pay attention for the 2 new Dune movies, that how everyone speaks like they're 10 to 20,000 years in the future, except for Zendaya, who speaks like she's from Brooklyn.
Well, she can't act.
Yeah.
Yeah, she can't act shit.
She can't act. And apparently people are already talking a little bit smack because they're finally making a Shrek 5 movie and she's in it. As one of Shrek's children grown up to like 16 or 17.
Yeah.
And it's just like, how does this girl keep getting roles? She sucks.
I don't know, man.
She a Nepo baby?
I don't know. Maybe.
Are her parents someone?
Maybe.
I don't know,
It's
man.
it's like they pick a person and they decide, we're going to make this person a star whether you like it or not.
Mm.
And then they start putting that person in movies, and you're just like, the language is based on Chechen. Like number 2, Off-Grid Gaming.
No, she's not a baby.
Thanks,
No.
Off-Grid. Yeah, well, the thing was, the original Fremen were from Egypt. And something about them, I think their religious views or something, made them hated by pretty much everyone else.
Weren't they Zen Sunni wanderers?
They were the Zen Sunni, and I guess the other guys hated them, so they wandered around for like thousands of years before they ended up on Arrakis. And then they were there for thousands of years before anyone else showed up. So they had already acclimatized and created their culture, you know? So, another thing about the movie is, while they should be swarthy Arabic-looking guys, you probably wouldn't have any Africans amongst them at all. Because they would have been a homogenized society. They'd been there for 10,000 years.
And also remember that Bene Gesserit infiltrated them and imposed and trained them into their mystic beliefs.
Yeah. Because that's what Bene Gesserit did. They
weren't they the ones who invented
and planted? They would go to a plant and plant a legend that was specifically designed so that if a Bene Gesserit crashed on that planet, they could behave in a way that would make the natives think that they were fulfilling a prophecy or something.
Didn't they fabricate like the jihadi prophecy or something like that?
Yeah, everything having to do with Paul on the Fremen end was fabricated by the Bene Gesserit.
Yeah,
right.
The whole Algae, the one from the outer,
the voice from the outer world.
Yeah, and blah blah blah. That was all straight up bullshit that the Bene Gesserit had planted in the Fremen culture like thousands of years ago. Because when you talk about Dune, you have to talk about time. And the fact that, like Bear said, for some things, time doesn't even exist.
I mean, doesn't the spice also
but the scope of Dune is tens of thousands of years.
Mm.
So when they say at the beginning of the book, know then that it is the year 10,191, that is not the Gregorian calendar.
No.
That's not our calendar 8,000 years in the future.
Oh.
We don't know how far it is in the future.
We don't know what they're basing that on. It's 10,000 years after something.
Even if we're basing on the Gregorian chap, like 8,000 years is still a long time.
Yeah, 10,000 years is still a long time, but
it's longer than that. Much longer.
And like a lot of people make the mistake if they don't read the book, and especially read the author of the book wrote a guide to the book. And like the Orange Catholic Church is like this weird blend of Catholicism and Islam.
Yeah.
It's like mostly Islam, but with a lot of Catholicism in it.
Okay.
So it's not the Catholicism that people are like, oh, Paul's reading his Orange Catholic Bible. And it's like, it's not what you think, you know, because basically, Christianity and Islam had merged But then again, the Fremen were Zen Sunni, which means also Muslims, but not the right kind of Muslims, not the Shia, plus with a Buddhist Zen, all that in it. So there was religious tension there. So that's why.
Actually, George, you're not correct on that. It's the base. It's 10,191 years since the foundation of the Spacing Guild.
So, James, if I get this right, the Zen Sunni are basically a blending of Zen Buddhism and Sunni Muslims, and the Orange Catholics are Shiite Muslims and Catholicism.
Basically.
Huh. Okay.
I mean, it's more complicated than that.
Yeah,
I'm
obviously.
Really, really surface level with this.
I will read these books now. You guys have converted me. This sounds a lot more cooler than what people.
And on top of that, the Orthodox Church still exists. It's just very small, and Judaism is still a thing. There are still practitioners of the Jewish faith. They're just, again, such a small percentage of the population. I mean, Paul Atreides becomes an Orthodox Christian saint.
Huh.
They actually carry icons of Paul Atreides in procession.
Huh.
So, but like I said, the Orthodox Christians are very small. And Roman Catholicism's gone because it merged with
Islam.
So it's just like they're their own thing. I mean,
now according to
crazy. And if you read the book, what's his name? Gurney Halleck is always quoting from the Orange Catholic Bible.
Always. So
just always. He's always like, guys, no matter what's going on, there's some scripture that he will talk about.
So according to the Dune Appendix in the book, it's 10,191 AG after Guild. So it's after the Spacing Guild has been formed.
Right.
And based on the notes in the back about the Butlerian Jihad, the 200th century, and all this stuff, you add up all the years and you get 21,392 on the Gregorian calendar.
Right.
So that's how far in the future it is, right? It's 20,000 years plus ahead of us.
Holy hell.
Oh, don't worry. It keeps going. If you read all of the books, because there's like 30 now, I mean, it goes another 100,000.
Don't read the new books. The new books are written by Brian Herbert and Paul Anderson, and they're awful. And they undo all the great mysteries of the because they're all prequels except for one, and so they just go back and do what all prequels do, which is ruin shit.
Ruin shit, exactly. Like in the one book, when they go back in the past, they make the Harkonnens the good guys.
Is that you mean the Paul Anderson who wrote like 3 Hearts and 3 Lions and
yes? So he and Frank Herbert's son, supposedly working from Frank Herbert's notes, I don't believe that, wrote a bunch of prequel books, and they're all shit.
Okay, so stay away from the prequel books. Gotcha.
Just read Dune, Dune Messiah, Children of Dune. If you want more after that, then you've got God Emperor, Heretics, and Chapter House you can read. At the end of that, go pick up a copy of the Dune Encyclopedia for way too much money and have fun reading all the little stories in there. But otherwise, stay away from all the Brian Herbert stuff. It's just shit.
By the time you get to Chapter House, it's been like 10,000 years since Paul.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like I said, that's the thing with Dune. It takes place over such a...
May I ask, Bear, since you obviously seem like a pretty big Dune fan, do you prefer the new films or was it David Lynch?
Oh,
man, that's hard.
I prefer the David Lynch because of Zendaya. And I don't like the woman they got to play Jessica. The Jessica in the David Lynch films is amazing. She's so good. Mm-hmm. I also prefer the Reverend Helena Gaius Mohem in that movie as well. That actress is fucking amazing.
She was good.
And I just like the Prussian-esque visuals that they did. There are many things I like about the Villeneuve versions. Many things that I thought were amazing. I love the shot on Salusa Secundus when they've got all the
throat singing and all that.
The shot, the Sadukar doing the Tuvan throat singing and all that. Like, that shit's cool. But fucking Jason Momoa and Zendaya and Christopher Walken should have never been anywhere near those movies because, as I said earlier, everybody else sounds like they're 10,000 years or 20,000 years in the future. Those three sound exactly like themselves the way they do in every other movie they're in.
Right.
And not only that, and I love Christopher Walken, but he's too old to be the Emperor Carino.
Shaddam.
Shaddam, yeah. Because in Dune, they have rejuvenation treatments. If you're really rich, you can get.
Mhm.
And they keep you looking pretty young, you know? So Shaddam looked like maybe he's 40 or 50. He didn't look like a 70 or 80-year-old man.
Right.
And, you know, I mean, the spice, it makes you live longer. It does all these miracle things. It makes it where every time you fold space, you don't have a 1 in 12 chance of losing the ship. You know, I mean, it does all kinds of, because if you read the books, it'll talk about what it was like before the Spacers Guild. And basically they would plot the courses to move the ships. And there was a huge chance if you messed up even one thing,
you were dead.
In this giant mathematical equation you had to do, the ship would just be gone. You'd hit a sun, something, you'd just be dead. And that was the whole thing with the Spacing Guild guys, is because of their use of spice and the fact that they studied nothing but pure mathematics for hundreds of years straight. They could do the equation to move the ship basically just in their head.
Question: what do mentats do in?
They are the thinking computers.
Yep.
Because of the Butlerian Jihad, it is forbidden to make a machine that emulates or acts in the form of a human brain.
You cannot make a machine that thinks.
So artificial
mentats
intelligence
are basically trained to be the smartest people in the universe. And Paul is trained as a mentat as well, by the way.
He was trained, as well. Yep. So the mentat, some of them,
because
some of them drink the juice of the Jaffo, which is basically like super caffeine.
Safu, the juice of Safu.
Safu, yeah. And then they say
It is by will alone I set my mind in motion. Exactly. It is by this will of Safu that thoughts acquire speed, the lips acquire stains, the stains become a warning. It is by will alone I set my mind in motion.
But basically, in the new movie, they have the scene where Leto asks his mentat, Thufir, how much money do you think it costs for them to send these people here? And you see Thufir's eyes kind of roll back, and then a second later, he says, 1 point, blah, 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 blah. Like that's what they are. They're living computers.
So DK, have you seen the 1984 Dune?
No, I haven't got the chance, but I've been meaning to.
The opening is paraphrased from the book and changed, but it's necessary to bring the audience up to speed, right? And this is how it starts. This doesn't hook you. If you're watching a movie and seeing the beautiful Virginia Madsen all done up like a space princess, and this doesn't grab you, the movie will not grab you. But she says, a beginning is a very delicate time. Know then that it is the year 10,191. The known universe is ruled by the Padishah Emperor Shaddam IV, my father. In this time, the most precious substance in the universe is the spice melange. The spice extends life. The spice expands consciousness. The spice is vital to space travel. The Spacing Guild and its navigators, who the spice has mutated over 4,000 years, use the orange spice gas, which gives them the ability to fold space. That is, to travel to any part of the universe without moving. Oh yes, I forgot to tell you. The spice exists only on one planet in the entire universe, a desolate, dry planet with vast deserts. Hidden away within the rocks of these deserts are a people known as the Fremen, who have long held a prophecy that a man would come, a Messiah, who would lead them to true freedom. The planet is Arrakis, also known as Doom.
Yeah,
that's how the movie opens.
That is so.
Ryan composed fucking Toto score hits you as you see these sweeping shots of the desert. I'm telling you, that movie is so fucking good.
That sounds
David Lynch,
awesome.
I pretty much like about everything he ever did, even though he's
freaky.
He does some weird ass shit, but he did Twin Peaks, and I mean the first and third season of that were amazing.
I was just curious. I was just curious what they were, because I play the Fallout series, and they reference the Mentats as like a drug you can take to increase your intelligence, your perception, and your charisma. So I was just curious if it was just like a.
Two things you need to know, DK.
Right.
In the 60s, when he wrote this book, everyone in sci-fi has ripped him off since. Okay, everyone.
Oh, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
BattleTech to 40K, but hang on.
Warhammer especially,
but BattleTech too. There is a filmmaker named Alejandro Jodorowsky who decided he was going to make a Dune movie. Right, never happened.
Right,
but he made this amazing book working with the Jacques Giroux, the French artist Moebius from Heavy Metal, and they made like a fucking storyboard book, and it tells the whole movie that he was going to make. He changed a lot of stuff, but it's very visual. The thing is, those books, he printed up, I think, a dozen of them or something, and they went around Hollywood in the 70s, in the early 70s. Suddenly, all sci-fi movies start having all of the visuals that he put in these books. Star Wars, Battlestar Galactica, the Star Trek stuff, where they all just ripped him off. So Dune and an analogy or a reimagining of Dune are responsible for at least, I would say, easily 75% of the visual language we understand as sci-fi today.
Right.
Yeah, his version of Dune would have been super colorful too, because it had like weird garish costumes that everyone wore, and the starships
Valley is Shalom the Fourth, man. Come on.
Weird. Okay. I love corned beef.
You said his name was Jodorowsky.
Okay, so there's a documentary called Jodorowsky's Dune. So Jodorowsky,
yeah.
Watch it. Okay,
I'll
it's
check
a documentary called Jodorowsky's Dune. Watch it. It'll
he
blow
was
your
going to do
mind.
this whole thing, but it fell through because a lot of people, for the longest time, didn't think Dune could be filmed.
I still don't think. I think it's a miniseries. It can't be done as a movie. And Villeneuve, to his credit, is doing his best, but look at how much shit he had to drop.
Yeah, I can't believe in the second movie he's already dueled Fade, and I mean, there was so much stuff that should have happened in the second movie.
Well, the second movie should have been 2 movies.
Way before he ever had to deal with Fade or the Emperor or any of that.
Yep.
There was so much other stuff that should have happened.
Fade Rotha said he was going to kill me. Died on his own blade.
I'm just saying, George Agrog, navigating chaos using psychedelics only works in fiction. Yeah, probably.
Well, I mean, their deal was just that they had to be able to navigate from point A or B or whatever it was. Actually, David Lynch came up with the idea of folding space, and Frank Herbert liked it so much it became canon.
Yeah, no, George, you're 100% right on that. But the best thing is, like, seriously, dude, I'm telling you, DK, go find it's on YouTube. I'm sure you can find it somewhere. I'm sure you have your ways to find things. Watch Jodorowsky's Dune. It'll blow your mind. I saw it in the theater. I heard it was playing, and I said, "Hey, you want to go see this weird documentary about this Dune movie that never got me?" He's like, "Yeah, right. Well, let's go. We'll have fun." We both at the end were like, "Jesus Christ, man!" Like,
Jodorowsky's Dune. Yeah, Jodorowsky's Dune, a documentary about the greatest sci-fi movie never made. Yeah, it's. I have it right here. I'll have to check this out, man. I will. Because you've actually hooked me. This sounds awesome. I'll check out the Lynch
Dune
film.
Is a book every young man should read.
Yeah.
Hello.
I'm going to say something. James, hang on. DK, I'm going to say something.
Go for it.
Do yourself a favor. Watch David Lynch's Dune, then watch the 2 Villeneuve films, then read the book.
The books. Okay.
Because unlike us, who all read the books first and then were disappointed by parts of the films because it wasn't quite the book, you'll get to have the experience of, oh, those are really cool, and then read the books and get the real story and be like, holy fuck, that's a whole other level.
Right. Okay,
I
I'll check
will
out the.
say this
I am
about
more
the
of a movie buff
Villanova
than a book reader.
movies. The guy they got to play Peter DeVries was amazing.
In Lynch?
In the DeVries ones.
Oh, in the Villeneuve ones.
Yeah, and in the Lynch one also.
Yeah, it's Brad Dourif in Lynch.
That guy was great too.
Yeah.
But the guy they got to play.
Yeah, he's the guy who played. He's the guy who played the Joker's
Midnight with the Devil.
Yeah, that guy did. Oh, Jesus! After Late Night with the Devil is such
Late Night with the Devil. He was in Blade Runner 2047.
Yeah, and he was in fucking Dark Knight.
Right. I mean, that guy is he's weird looking and just like, even when he's not playing a bad guy, he's kind of creepy still.
You ever see any interviews with him?
Huh?
You ever see him be interviewed?
Who's this actor you're talking about?
Super nice spoken, soft. Like he's a lot like the way his character is in After Late Night with the Devil.
Yep. Which, talk about a brain, just a total mind F that movie was.
Well, you know, the funny thing about that movie was there was a lot of people. The actor's name is David Dashmalchian. I don't know, I can't pronounce that. A lot of people shit on that movie. They said it's so stupid. Like, you weren't alive in the 70s. Everyone was obsessed with exorcisms and telekinesis and all this shit. I remember,
I've seen this guy before. I think I've seen this guy before. Yeah,
you've seen him
in the Dark Knight. Yeah,
he's been in a lot of movies. I'm just
he was that guy that Harvey in the Dark Knight was trying to interrogate. Yeah, I know. Yeah,
he's the guy who tries to shoot the
mayor. Yeah.
But yeah, Late Night with the Devil was one of those movies that wasn't scary until about the last 15 minutes when it become really scary. Because at first you're just watching it and you're thinking, okay, this is cool. I mean, it's, the old days when they had late night type with, Johnny Carson things. And it doesn't really seem scary. But then when you put everything together, it's like, oh shit, that was scary.
Yeah.
And it was a plot that had literally was a generation plus long. Oh, Blue Velvet. Blue Velvet was just nuts. Blue Velvet, David Lynch, Blue Velvet, nuts.
Fuck
just
that
nuts.
shit. Pabst Blue Ribbon.
But I mean, for David Lynch, nothing beats Twin Peaks, season 1. Kyle MacLachlan going into the diner. Oh, this is the best coffee I've ever had, or whatever. Cherry pie or whatever.
What are these magnificent trees?
Right. And then David Lynch himself shows up and he's deaf.
Yeah.
So he's always yelling at everyone. And you got to yell back if you want to understand, except if you pay attention, because it's the kind of show that you really got to pay attention. Like the one lady that works at the diner, he can hear her just fine. And so they just have normal conversations without yelling at each other. And they never explain that. Hell, David Bowie is in like the first or second episode. It's like, when Kyle MacLachlan's watching the camera and like he sees himself. It's just a weird movie.
Sometimes my arms been big.
Oh, the little guy in the weird room.
Yeah.
That speaks backwards all the time. And it's like, okay, is this hell?
For the rest of my life, the owls are not what they seem.
Yeah.
It's just, what the fuck?
Another thing that never really explained.
No, they never explained it
out there. But that was the beauty of Twin Peaks. They would like throw weird shit out there, and then they'd leave it to you to like fill blanks.
Yeah.
And then that made the movie super interesting because you're actually kind of your imagination is part of the movie.
So it was a TV series. Do you remember?
Yeah.
I'm sure you remember. So it's the early 90s, right? It's like 1990 or whatever. And none of us know what the fuck's going on, but suddenly Who Killed Laura Palmer is like the media buzz of the day. Like it's on billboards. It's insane. You watch all these shows today. What are they all about? Who killed someone? Who did it? We're going to figure it all out, right? Who pioneered that shit? David Lynch of Twin Peaks.
Who Killed Laura Palmer, which is season 1 of Twin Peaks. They find a body wrapped up in saran wrap, and that's how it starts.
And it's this high school girl, Laura Palmer.
And then it gets into her life, which was really interesting.
Well, that's the thing. It peels back the entirety of the town, the insanity of the town. But the thing is, what you need to understand, DK, Twin Peaks, the first season of Twin Peaks was the fucking Game of Thrones of its day.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone was watching it. Everyone had an opinion.
I've been meaning to watch it as well because I'm a big Silent Hill fan, and apparently it was also drew inspiration.
They stole tons of shit for Silent Hill.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm not surprised. That's just the thing I've come to realize, that a lot of the stuff that I've watched was just borrowing a shit ton of ideas from everything else.
Yeah. So did you see the John Carter movie that came out a while back from Disney back in the 2000s or whatever? Did you see that? Okay.
No,
at the time, all these fucking late millennial and early fucking Gen Zs were writing articles and posts on Reddit and everything. Going, it's fucking just ripped off Star Wars. It just ripped off this. It just ripped off. It's like, no, they ripped off John Carter. That's what you don't understand.
It's like, you understand, right, that this book was written like in the 20s or 30s.
You understand Star Wars hasn't had an original thought in its existence?
You know,
it's like James. It's like, what was it? Campbell and fucking Akira Kurosawa and Flash Gordon and shit
Buck
ton
Rogers
of other
and all kinds of shit.
Well, Ray Bradbury wrote a whole series of books, and they were all about it being like 19 something. Like 1910 or something, but somehow somebody invented space travel or something. And he's not the only one. There was like a whole crew of these guys. And they were writing these books about like other ships and going to the caverns in the moon and traveling to the center of the earth. And I mean, they were really knocking it out of the park back in those days.
Yeah.
And Bear's 100% right. You know, people think they'll see the movie and think, you know, stupid shit. And it's like, dude, that guy wrote that book a century ago. And you just don't get it. You know, it's like, sorry, I'm not trying to be mean, but, you know, because, and this is something I believe, Bear, I've talked to you about. I think that we've reached peak imagination.
I don't think we have.
Well, you're a more positive thinking guy than I am. But it's like sometimes I worry that we've told every story worth telling. No, and that's why Hollywood just keeps rehashing shit.
Well, the problem with Hollywood is that they're just lazy. They just see what's commercially viable and just...
Well, I worked in Hollywood, so I'll tell you, it's a lot more than just that. There's a lot of ego that goes in. It's not about lazy, it's about ego. Ego and money are the two biggest parts of the film industry.
Fair enough.
James, ideas like the 3-body problem and stuff like that show that there are still new ideas out there.
Right.
Problem is that we are force-fed or digest mostly Hollywood television and movies. And as a result, we're seeing just repetitive things because they're trying to play it safe so they can make money, right?
Right.
So why give you something new? Because I can just give you the same thing you always wanted because you liked that shit, didn't you? Didn't you, you fucker? Watch it again, you fuck.
I mean, it's the same reason why. It's the same reason why people won't play like games like Demon Souls, but they'll play COD like a million fucking times, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
It's the same reason every conversation about role-playing games degenerates down to D&D. It's the same reason why every Shadow Dark Kickstarter and backer kit that's all about fantasy, regardless of what it is, does $30,000, $40,000 worth of business, and fucking Victor Gorchev's Blacklight, which is about sci-fi hunting monsters, does 6. Because people are fucking lame and just want the same shit over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I have no illusions that the grimdark fucking game that I want to do will do anywhere near as good as like I don't know, Shadow Dark or Trench Crusade or anything like that. I'm just doing it because I want to do it. You know.
That's why you do it.
Yep.
It's the only reason you do it.
Yeah. And I'll be designing.
If you hit it big, then awesome. And if you don't, it don't matter because you put yourself out there and you did the thing you wanted to do.
Let me tell you a story about a game called Heroic.
Well, no, I mean, I'll keep releasing supplements for it if I still have the time, you know, and the finances for it.
Victor went from not doing anything to all of a sudden just cranking shit out.
Yeah.
So
just have ambition and drive and a vision, you know, and I know what I want to do. I just gotta play test it and then I'll release it.
Skip play testing. Don't worry about fucking play testing. Just get it out. If you know it works, it works. Get it out, get it into people's hands, then do the second edition where you fix it.
Fair enough.
Like everyone else did.
Exactly.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, and do it art free and print on demand. Save yourself all the headaches.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Art
yeah.
for the worst.
Well, I mean, I was going to use like public domain Gustav Durer art and maybe some like medieval font on the sides of the pages, but that's about it. So
Nah, go do a monster manual based on what's his name? That fucking Hieronymus Bosch. Take all his crazy paintings and do a monster manual based on that.
Hieronymus
This shit is crazy.
I'll look him up.
Bosch, he did one, the Garden of Excess or some shit. It's like nothing in it makes sense. It's insane.
But it's all public domain.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's bad. I'm just saying that guy was wild.
Well, that guy was like Geiger.
Kind of like the Polish guy. What's his name?
The Polish guy.
It's like Zolkinski or something, and he did all this crazy art.
Well, it's like Geiger, right? For the guy who designed the alien and all that. You look at his art.
It's like Geiger, but not.
Yeah.
And it has like a bunch of skeletons and shit.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And weird humans.
And tap into a darkness, man. Like their creativity taps into a visual darkness. That
you mean the Garden of Hell or whatever? That I think I know the one you're on about. Like, that's one of the Gardens of Earthly Delights. That was it.
That's what I said. The Gardens of Earthly Delight. But there's more. That guy did. He was out there doing his thing. You know. I mean.
Yeah.
You got to admit that no matter what else. He was definitely out there doing his thing. But the guy I'm talking about, which I know a lot of people know, he survived like World War II as a Pole and the communist occupation and blah, blah, blah.
Oh, God.
And I guess he turned all that trauma into art. And his art is like the one video game like Scorn or whatever, where you start off in that weird bio, whatever, you fall out of an egg off a cliff and everything. It was kind of based directly on his art.
Okay.
Unfortunately, he got killed by some guy who was asking to borrow like $10.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. But yeah, no, thank you for the recommendation, Bear. I'll use some of his art as well. It looks fucking cool.
Well,
I always dug that kind of medieval, like semi two-dimensional stuff. Anyway, it looks cool.
Some of the old medieval wood carving things they did,
like
are
Vlad
insane.
Tepes. The ones of Vlad Tepes, like that one was kind of grisly.
Dude, they used to do those. Yeah, some of those are great, and they're all, I think, what Bear said.
Public domain, yeah. Because they're like
domain
the 14 or 1500s, man. You know, so I can use them.
I gotta run, boys. You guys have yourselves a good night.
Yeah, thanks, Bear.
Well, if
I'll
you're
check out-
leaving, I'm leaving too, homie.
All right, brother.
see
You do what you gotta do.
Well,
Thanks,
it's about
Bear. Appreciate it, man. And thank you, James, for letting me talk.
Oh, no problem, bro. And yeah, like Bear said, I concur. The first couple of Dune books. After that,
But watch the movies first before you read the books. Do yourself that one favor we didn't get a chance to do. So that way you can see other people's takes on it and then read the real story.
And I will check out that documentary as well.
Yeah, because my mom assigned me Dune as one of my reading things I had to do. And that was way before the movies were made.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
My sister got me the first 3 books for for Christmas when I was like 11. And the movie came out when I was 14. You know?
Wow.
So anyway, I'm ending it, but peace and love to both of you. And I hope you have a wonderful evening. And I'll chat with you guys later.
Check you later, man.
Bye.